So how do you even get good grades in college and be successful in your degree and your major? I'm here to give you all the tips and tricks I've learned of studying, getting good grades in classes, so let's head to the lib. Alright guys, it's currently Monday. I have a test on Wednesday and Thursday this week, and that's kind of like finals area. So throughout this week, I'm just going to show you what my methods for studying are. I started studying for my accounting test now. One thing I will say is for every subject, I study very different for it. So first thing, do that. If you're new here, my name is Reagan. I go to Stanford University and post college content, entertainment, but also informative. So if you're interested in that, post every Sunday, and be sure to check out my other videos. For every subject, you are going to study differently, and a big important thing is learning how your brain works for studying. For me, what that looks like, how I study best in college, is spreading my studying out over various days. Whereas a lot of other people prefer to cram in like 2 days, but that stresses me out and I can't study for that long. So I'd rather stretch it out, but some people would get overstudying for it before the test is even close. Another random tip is knowing how you work best. And that goes in multiple areas. When does your brain work best to study? How does your brain study best? And how does your body study best? Which sounds weird, but hear me out. I have examples. I am a morning person. I don't study well at night because my brain shuts off and it's like, why are we doing school? You want to be laying in bed right now, right? So for me, I've learned it's more productive for me if it's the night before a test and I haven't got enough studying done to go to bed early and wake up early. Even if my test at 8 a.m., I did this literally this morning, woke up at 6 and study. And so it's knowing what works best for me. I'm going to absorb that information better first thing in the morning than I am last thing at night. Whereas other people are going to be the opposite. So it's learning your strengths and knowing how can I get the most amount of my time. Sitting versus standing when you're studying. This is going to sound weird, but I get antsy easily. So I tend to, if it's homework or something where I'm just reading something, I try to do that standing up. Whether that's putting my laptop like on a bed where I can stand up and read it and scroll through it. But if I'm just sitting, I kind of just like relax a little bit more to where it's kind of passive and not like actually entering my brain. Same as like using the whiteboards in the lib and writing out equations. I could easily write that in my notebook and sit down and do it. But when I'm standing up to do it, it kind of triggers my brain of like, okay, we're actively doing something. So for me, I've learned this is obviously if I have to study, I'm going to choose to study. But if I don't work out and study all day, my brain is going to be like, I'm not going to be able to absorb it as much because I'm going to feel like I need to move. And so if I work out, whether that's even just a 30-minute something, being active so I'm not sitting and staring all day, really helps me be able to focus in. Instead of doing it all at once, I try to plan out active study breaks. So not just sitting and scrolling on TikTok, but like getting up and doing something for a study break. Yesterday I read all my notes that I hand wrote because our internet was down. So today, while we have this study room for another hour and a half, and so I use the whiteboard to work out all my homework problems and make sure I know how to do that. So let's get going with that. And what I like about this study room is look at the view. There's so much fun natural light and it's beautiful outside. One thing that's important for me is like moving rooms a lot to study so I don't get bored. Or as bored. Changes the pace, makes you, if I like leave and go to a designated spot to study, I'm more apt to knock on my phone. One thing I also do is as I'm going through homework, the problem I just did, I know how to do, but the last one, the keywording didn't like signal my brain. Wow. The wording didn't signal my brain of like what it was asking for, so I'm gonna make a key on the whiteboard. The thing I didn't automatically remember, take a picture of that, and later to restudy, write it down on a piece of notebook paper. So for example, let's start my cheat sheet. One thing I also like doing is giving myself a little reward that only comes when I study. Either Olipop or Poppy. Today I have Cranberry Fizz Poppy. I've had it one time. That just exploded everywhere. Anyway, just enjoy it as I study. It makes it a little more enjoyable. As much as you don't want to believe this in college, the type of food you eat and the amount of sleep you get really affects your brain's ability to retain information. If you're going to class half asleep because you have an 8 a.m. and went to bed at 3 a.m. that night, it happens, but like it will affect your grades, and knowing like your body's health and well-being also affects your brain's health and ability to focus and not make silly mistakes. Because that's what I found is when I study for super long periods of time at once, I start making dumb mistakes, and then my brain remembers those dumb mistakes, and then I remember it wrong, which is not ideal, like at all. So when you're doing homework for a class, if you don't understand how to do it, just do something to try to figure the homework out so that when you're studying, your study time is spent remembering how to do it and not learning how to do it. My camera battery died, so that's why there's been a little bit of phone footage. Room, then it is like almost up, like an awkward time gap before class. So what I'm gonna do to maximize my time, go to the business school, and I'll have about 20-25 minutes until class starts, but there I'm going to just look at my notes for my personal finance, memorize a bunch of stuff. I like to just sprinkle out reading notes like that throughout the week so that I don't really feel like I'm studying for it, but I'm absorbing the information. Level, can you cram for a test and do good on it? Sure, but there's a way of learning the information when you're supposed to that's going to make studying for the test easier and remembering stuff for the final easier. I think one big thing too about having good grades in college is picking your battles. It's knowing what classes do I need to designate more time to. It's looking at syllabuses and being like, oh, I have multiple tests this week, so I need to start studying a lot more in advance because I need to study multiple subjects a day. A very crucial part to your grades in college is your ability to manage time. I will be posting videos soon about how to manage time in college, so I'm not going to go into it in a ton of details in this video, but it's being able to recognize, okay, is spending time on this homework assignment really worth it and help me learn stuff for the test, or no? And it's just navigating where your time needs to be spent with each class and what's worth the time and what's not. Is the extra credit worth your time, or is it more worth your time to just study more? Because sometimes it is, but other times extra credit's really worth it, and the only reason you'll end up with an A. I think also it's just having the mental mindset of like school is a priority, because if it's not, your grades are gonna fumble. Another random important thing for me that's like really odd is the outfits I wear when I study. I made a YouTube short about this a little bit ago, but to class I like to put like real outfits on to help me focus and like feel productive for the day. But when it comes to studying, I'm in sweats and messy hair, blue light glasses on, like almost making an aesthetic to where you study makes it more feeling like you should be studying, if that makes any sense. If I'm in like a nicer outfit, I'm not going to sit down and study. It's like weird. That's a personal thing. I don't know. Let me know if you relate, but that's definitely a thing for me. I'd say another important thing is knowing your weaknesses. What part of studying or school do you struggle with the most, and where do you get distracted the most? Those are your weaknesses. If I'm ever trying to get work done, Exhibit A, I have a stronger desire than working problems for 3 hours to scroll on TikTok, which I've also been doing. This is what I do so that I can focus on my work. Take my phone, put it on my bed, because here's the thing. 1, I gotta reach for it. Oh, not there. 2, by the time I've been doing homework for an hour, probably forgot where it went. And 3, if I really want to go do it, that requires me, I'm too short to reach this. That requires me to climb all the way up to my bed, and there's no way I'm that desperate to watch TikTok. So then my only other option is to actually do my work. One thing in college too is you're at college to do school, and so it's very easy way of socializing with people is to go study together, and it's learning the balance of, do I study well with people there, or is that a distraction for me? And learning the balance of that is very important. One thing that a lot of people do in college is, if you have a lot of studying to do and just don't have time to work out, is they'll bring their notes and read through notes as they're walking on the treadmill to just get up. And I think that's an underrated idea. Gotta do what you gotta do. Another really important thing, making connections friends, acquaintances, whatever you want it to be, with people in your class, so that one, you can study with them if you want, two, you have their number and can text them if you have questions about stuff, and it also just makes class more enjoyable. But having resources of people in the class that can help you, because oftentimes like people's brains work differently, so they might understand something you don't and vice versa, and you can help each other out, and it makes the class a lot more fun. You can rant about the professor together, you can rave about the professor, all the things. It's also very important to not slack off freshman year of college. Those grades still count as your full GPA, and oftentimes those classes are the ones that are going to be your most GPA boosters because they're easier. You need the points you can get. If you're watching this video right now and you're like, wow, grades in college, so important, what even is college like? Well, I have videos, so I have it linked up here, but everything you need about being a college student, things no one talks about, so go check that video out. So the way you study very much can dictate how you do on a test. You could study for weeks for a test and still fail it because you're studying wrong. Here's everything I'd say about studying. If there are tangible homework problems to work out, I do those homework problems so I can do them without like a blink in the eye. Is that a saying? I don't even know. Until I can do the homework problems without any question, any like doubt, second thought of how to do it. So going through the homework questions again, reading through notes, but reading through notes in a way to understand it, whether that's teaching myself it out loud, teaching someone else it, but verbally processing really helps for me. Making sure you know how to do homework problems, making sure you can like see a topic and then understand it and explain it to someone else. Does it help you, like knowing, does it help you to draw pictures out? Knowing if you're a visual learner, like a verbal processor, like knowing how your brain works best is going to help you formulate your best strategy. If it's something based off a book, like reading the book, can I summarize each chapter to then take things away from it? Learning the way you learn and applying that to how you study. Some people do better teaching it themselves, some are the opposite, but it's finding tools that work for you. I know that's vague, but everyone learns differently, so giving you a formula of how to study isn't going to work because every college course is so different and every person's brain works so differently. If you like, I know a lot of people love going to office hours to talk to the professor and help them explain it and better understand it. Sometimes for me, I know I'm better off looking it up on my own to learn it, because if someone tells me something, I don't really comprehend it. I have to like sit and actually do it. But for some people, having the professor explain it clears it up immediately in their head. I feel like people don't really talk about this, but finding upperclassmen in your major to ask for professor recommendations, because sometimes a lot of like what your grades are is how your cards are dealt with what professors you get and how hard that course is, and even just the teaching style, because sometimes you have great professor options all around, but it's what teaching style, way of homework is going to work best for you. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more college advice, college days in life, just all of that in general, please subscribe to my channel. It's so incredibly helpful. And also give this video a thumbs up so I know y'all want to see more videos like this. If you like this video, I also highly recommend checking out College Advice for Freshmen, and then this video for just a typical college day in my life where you can see kind of school, everything balance. But yeah, I'll see y'all next Sunday. Bye!